Hello. Welcome to Chapter 2, Operation Strategy, Winning the Operations Game. When you complete this chapter, you should be able to define mission and strategy, identify and explain several strategic approaches to competitive advantage, understand the significant key success factors and core competencies, and really just understand how do companies execute operation strategy. How do they define it and then implement it? What is operation strategy? Operation strategy is the approach is consistent with organizational strategy, and it is used to guide the operations function. So it's not separate and apart from the organization's overall strategy. They're linked, and the operation strategy is about is helping to execute the corporation strategy. Operation strategy has two roles. It can provide support for the overall strategy of the firm, and it can serve as the firm's distinctive competence, meaning what is the firm good at. Mission statements tell an organization where it is going, and the strategy tells the organization how to get there. Over here, I have an example with PepsiCo that I can't seem to spell. But our mission is to be the world's premier consumer products, right? Consumer products company focused on convenient goods and services. So that's their mission. So the mission tells you where is the organization going, what's their purpose for being, how do they contribute to society, and it also provides boundaries and focus. You can't be everything to everybody. Strategies require managers to develop action plans to achieve the mission. It ensures functional areas have supporting strategies. They exploit opportunities and strengths, neutralize threats, and avoid weaknesses. The forward perspective on operation strategy. There's a top-down perspective, from senior leadership to either the owners of the company or the CEO of the company, right? They reflect what the whole group or business wants to do. There's an inside-out perspective, where we develop resources and processes so that their capabilities can be exploited in their chosen markets. There's the outside-in perspective, where we translate intended market positions so as to provide the required objectives for operations decisions. And there's the bottom-up, where you take bit by bit by bit to get to the total story. And that's learning from day-to-day activities, so you can cumulatively build strategic capabilities. Most times, and I should just recap here, most times it's a top-down perspective and then the bottom-up and a meet in the middle, supported by the inside-out perspective and the outside-in perspective. There are 4 key stages of operation strategy. There's a formulation, implementation, monitoring, and control. In the formulation, the framework consists of 5 steps. You want to define the corporate objectives, determine marketing strategies to meet those objectives, assess how different products win orders against competitors, establish the most appropriate mode to deliver these sets of products, and then provide the infrastructure required to support the operations. So you want to define what it is you're trying to do. You want to define how your go-to-market strategy, so to speak. What is marketing going to do to help us get there? And then figure out how are you going to win against competitors? How are you going to get more orders than the other person? How you get more people flying on your planes, right? If you're an airline, so on. And then you'll establish the most appropriate mode to deliver those objectives. Initially, when you're implementing strategy, right, your focus is on correcting the worst problems. Then you want to adopt best practice behaviors as you get more mature. Then you want to link strategy to operations, right? How are you executing? And then you want to have an operations advantage. Some companies are really, really known for how they execute and operate. So years ago, Dell, was known for the operations advantage or their core competence of really building good computers, right? And then you were able to buy pretty much standard computers at a very good price. Then let me think of other people. When you think of like Walmart, right? They operate on a they use cost strategy or cost operation strategy. So they want to have the lowest cost everywhere. Costco wants to give you good quality at the lowest cost, right? Or at the best cost possible. So every company will use a different strategy in order to win customers. So how do companies compete using operations? Product and service design, right? So really good product design or service design. Cost, as I mentioned, like Walmart. Location, if you think of a McDonald's, they want to have as many restaurants as they can everywhere, right? Quality of the product, excellent quality. I can think of like Carolina Herrera, right? Like really nice clothing. Quick response. So if you ask for like a change in a product, if you want a little customization, but it being responsive to the customer is what quick response is about. I can't think of an example right now, but it'll probably come to me. Flexibility. Think of a sandwich, however you want it, right? Like the Whopper. Do you want it with onions, no onions, and so on? And you can tell I love food. Inventory management, right? Some companies want to make sure they have as much inventory as they can in every color, every size, right? So whatever you want to order is available to you. That's Amazon. Supply chain management, sorry, meaning they can bring the products from wherever it's produced to you at the lowest cost and quickly. Service and managers and workers, meaning they have the right staff in the right place. You don't go, like, for example, you're going to a Walmart and you can't find anybody because they're so busy focusing on cost, right? So they're not hiring enough people. Then in other places, you go and, there's so many people. How may I help you? Like a not Bed Bath and Beyond, Bath and Body Works. You're going, how may I help you? And then you go to the next station and there's somebody else. May I help you with that? Would you like to try that, right? So they have enough workers to help you have that experience. For me, it's a little annoying, but hey, some people like that, extra attention. So strategies for competitive advantage. So there's differentiation, right? So you want to be better or at least different. Cost leadership, you want to have low cost operations. And then responsive, you want to be more responsive. Fast delivery time. So Uber wants to get you your food as quickly as possible. I think Domino's had a program where if you didn't get your pizza within a certain time, it was free, right? So that's response. And then there are a lot of companies that get combining all three, where they're focused on different things in different markets. These are just additional examples. So from differentiation, you want to think about like gloves, Hard Rock Cafe, you have a different experience. Then, in addition to Hard Rock Cafe, I also thought about Hooters. That's a different experience for sure. Then movie theaters, right, are now offering 4D. You can actually feel the seats moving. You smell like you're in the movie itself. You get mist of rain, things like that. So everybody's trying to be different. How can we get more people in the door because they love, just the experience? I think I saw something recently in Japan where you go to a restaurant so they can be rude to you, and people love it. So it's just crazy. When you think about costs, you think of examples like Southwest Airline, Walmart, and I don't know this France company, but they're out there. But response, I mentioned, Domino's, Pizza Hut, everybody's trying to get you the food as possible, as quickly as possible. When companies are talking about being time-based, right, they want to reduce the cost and the time it takes to get your product. They look at planning time, processing time, changeover time, delivery time, and response time for complaints. When they want to be agile, meaning it helps them be more responsive, they're looking at blending cost, quality, reliability, and flexibility. Sample operation strategies: low price, responsiveness, differentiation, new, high quality, variety, service, and location. And you can read the screen here. You can pause it and take a look. In the service sector, it's a little different than a physical product, right? With a physical product, you're thinking quality of the product, you're thinking the cost and so on. But with service, it's more about the tangible, such as is the place clean? Is the staff friendly, right? Is the staff clean as well? Is it reliable? Like, are you going to get the same kind of service depending on, regardless of which location you go to? Does it feel safe? Are they competent or are they sloppy? Right? And do they understand what it is you need? And how easy is it to access and reach the provider is important. When you think of quality, it's around, I'm thinking clothing. How does the fabric feel? Right? Are the threads hanging out of the clothes, or did they do a good job finishing the edges? think about Zara. I think Zara has made their mark because they're able to bring you affordable clothing at a very good price, right? So that's how they differentiated themselves, and that's how they compete and continue. They competed back then and continue to compete now. So how does all of this link to, the big thing of today, e-commerce, right? Online shopping. Before it was all about, going physically, going somewhere, but now, especially since COVID, everyone's all about, can I get it at home? I'm a big online shopper. I'm a little fat. I'm not gonna lie. So it's hard for me to find clothes in stores. So I work my phone, and I work with a device I have in order to find what I'm looking for online. Plus I'm busy. I just don't have the time to go to the stores all the time. So Amazon loves me. I spend way too much money with Amazon. But anyhow, how has it changed in operation strategy? You have direct sales to customers. You can be on your phone and in the middle of the night, right, and place an order and get it the next day. You have a ton of selections. If you think Amazon again, right, there's so many choices. Like, I can't get past the first page. Flexible pricing with so many people in a marketplace, right? Amazon has marketplaces, Walmart has marketplace. So many different people selling it. You can get different prices. You can. It's easy to pay. Inventory is centralized, easy to access. I can get stuff next morning, right? So I can order something in the evening by, let's say, 6 or 7. And the next morning I wake up, it's at my door. I love it. I don't use it a lot, but when it's offered, I'm like, ooh, this one nicer, right? Shipping costs, right? If you use Prime or some of the other services, shipping is free, and so on. The only challenge I find is the communication barriers. If you need to talk to somebody, it might be hard, right? You have to send an email, you have to wait for somebody to get back to you, and so on. So why do some organizations fail? Number one is their neglected operation strategy, right? They fail to take advantage of their strengths and opportunities and fail to recognize competitive threats. There's too much emphasis on short-term performance, and they're not emphasizing enough product design, process design, and improvement. How do I keep my customers happy? And finally, they fail to establish good internal communications and consider customers' wants and needs. And that's it. This was a pretty easy chapter. It's very theoretical. I hope you learned something and that you enjoyed. Thank you. Bye-bye.